Okay guys, give you an update on my cattle panel greenhouse. Just finished putting all the plastic on, and thought I'd give you a look at the finished product, or at least the product up to this point. So it's pretty much as I thought it would be. It was a bear to get the plastic on. Didn't do it by myself. Had my son help me pull the plastic over the cattle panels themselves, and that helped a great deal. It took about 4.5 hours, but that was a longer period of time simply because I took those old 2x4s I reclaimed and I cut them into 1/2-inch width strips, and as you can see, I stapled those on top of the plastic with a staple gun. I think I used 1.5-inch, maybe 1.75-inch staples. That sped the process quite a bit, but what I saved in time there, I took up splitting all those 2x4s into those 1/2-inch lattice strips. But again, I didn't buy anything. Aside from what I told you in the last video. Had to buy the cattle panels, $19.99 a piece, bought 3 of those. Had to buy the 1/2-inch pipe insulation, that was 7 cents a piece. I did buy 2 of the deck block, and I used only 2 of the 4, and they were $5.63. I said they were $4.63 or something like that in the previous video. They were $5.63. And the plastic, 4 mil, 20 feet by 100 feet. That was $78 plus tax. Got that at Lowe's. And obviously I have plenty left over to use again. It took me most of that 4.5 hours on this end, trying to figure out how to gather that plastic and how to make it look decent. I'll show you the inside in a second. So what I ended up doing is trying to make the gathers on both sides pretty equivalent, and I think I did a fairly decent job there. I haven't trimmed off along the bottom yet. I'm toying with the idea of just leaving that plastic, and I said in the last video I thought I was going to buy some compost bags and lay against the foundation gaps, but I believe I've changed my mind there. I think I'm just going to get my front end loader on a tractor and scoop up some dirt from the ditch and pile that down right around in here. That way it'll be much less vulnerable to the wind, and I'll do that along the front here and right along this side. It won't take that much dirt, and it'll be a better job. At least that's the plan today. It could change, but all in all, yeah, I'm pleased with the way it turned out. It looks good, looks tight. The plastic stretched well. 4 mil is a good choice. That's heavy duty. The 6 mil extra heavy duty. I didn't want to spend the extra $30 for that. I just wanted to try this and see how it does. And if I start, popping this greenhouse, then I may build another one. Let's walk inside. Let you take a look at it from the inside. Again, I didn't have to buy any lumber. It would have cost quite a bit more. I haven't tallied up the total expense yet. I did build these shelves, and these are, I just laid these on the top. These were the ends of the 2x12s that I cut off for the base right here. And those are some 1/4-inch scrap treated plywood I just put on top of those. But that's the bottom shelf. Top shelf, I just put a couple of 2x6s. I put this 2x4 here so something wouldn't just run into the plastic, because I do not want to have to repair any of this plastic. Did the same thing on this side. This bench, I haven't put a lower shelf yet. That's the leftover plastic. So you can see I obviously pulled too much off for each end. But that's okay, first time. I'd rather have too much than too little, because that would have been one major mess if I'd got these sides, these long 12.5-foot sides, tacked into place, and then I didn't have enough plastic for these ends. So I don't mind sacrificing that. I'll use it for something else. If nothing else, I'll put it on the ground here. So I'm pleased with the way it turned out. That's the window. I finished skinning everything, as I said yesterday, in about 4.5 hours, with the exception of this part, this lower area under the window that I can open up, and the bottom panel of the door there. So did pretty good. Made some time. I could do it much quicker now. Like I said, it took me a while to figure out how to do this end where the door is, in terms of stretching the plastic, tacking it down and making it look good. This back part, even with the window, I did in half the time, just knowing how to do it. I learned quite a bit in this process. I'd tweak it a little bit more, getting down the measurements to the half to quarter inch in a couple of places can make all the difference in the world. This is something that, if you've got moderate what can I say, home improvement, construction skills, it shouldn't present any problem. But if you don't, you're going to end up with probably a big mess, because it's got to be square everywhere, and it's got to be specific in terms of the measurements for all these cattle panels, the header there, everything to work out. So you need at least a moderate construction, woodworking skill set. The tools I used, I haven't even given any thought to that, because I've got so many. I used a portable table saw to rip all of the 2x4s into the lattice that I used. That Bostik staple gun, old pancake air compressor, obviously miter saw, hammer, framer square. What else? I use nail pullers sometimes to get staples out. Excuse me. So I mean, it doesn't take that many tools, but what I did use certainly sped the process quite a bit. So you'll notice I don't have any benches or shelves here. Excuse me. Or here. I'm going to add those on later. I didn't have enough seed trays last year for my garden to justify any more than the area in those two benches or shelves. That will more than blow out my garden, and probably 2 or 3 my size. I figure I can use one of these areas for putting the compost, some buckets and various implements that I don't care if stays out unlocked. So I'm not going to lock this greenhouse. So overall, I've got minimal expense in it. The major expense was that plastic. I spent more on the plastic than I did the cattle panels and what little hardware I bought. But as I said, I've got plenty of that plastic left over. A couple of things yet to do. I will probably take a little of that pipe insulation. There's a gap between that door, or excuse me, the window and that header here, and given the old reclaimed wood that I used, some of it was twisted, and I did the best I could, and it turned out pretty good. But there's a gap up there, and there needs to be a little gap for the window to be functional, or the frame, given the fact that it probably will get wet, or it will from the outside. And so I wanted to give it a little extra expansion room. But that's a source for air to come in, so I may use some of the pipe insulation, just cut it and tack it up here from the inside, because the window's going to open out, and that may cut down some of the flow. But there are no other sources except for the door and the window for air to come in, except for right down along there. And as I said, I think I'm just going to bank up some dirt outside that I deepen up a ditch from a path with, and right along there as well. So just a little area, and that'll make it pretty airtight. This plastic being 4 mil, hopefully it will withstand the elements for long enough for me to get my money out of it. And but all I have to do really is to grow a number of seed trays with tomato plants in them, and I'll recoup my money fairly quickly. So that's the update. That's what it looks like all skinned out. It turned out well. Like I said, I didn't spend that much time with it. I haven't sort of added up every amount of time that I've spent with it. This was my major project over the break. As I said in the last video, I've been wanting to build a greenhouse for a couple of years. I had been thinking about using PVC, but the candle paddle idea is far better. This is a much more sturdy greenhouse than would be PVC. That thing is very sturdy. So again, that's the update. Tell me what you think. If you got any questions, just shoot me an email or leave a comment. Thanks, take care, and I'll talk to you later.